Hi, everyone. Welcome to another amazing topic. And today we're in for a treat. Welcome, Claudia Akel. Um, this is extremely interesting. Besides interesting, it's a conversation that we all need to have. It's about sustainable development goals, what very few people are actually doing for our sake and the sake of the whole community and the whole world. So, Claudia, welcome. Please tell us a little bit about yourself before we start the conversation.
Thank you, Gladys, for welcoming me in your community. So a little bit of me. My name is Claudia Akel, and I am a Brazilian immigrant in the United States. I moved to the United States back in 2013 to pursue a career change, and actually what I did is to start working with social entrepreneurship. Back in 2013, the only idea that I had is that I would like to do good for the world. But judging from my experience in the past, and I came from the business sector, I lacked a little bit of the preparation. And that's what I got here in the United States, doing a master's at the University of Miami called Community and Social Change. So that was the start of my transformation. What can I say to you? So when I moved to the United States, that was the goal. And then by the end of my master's, I had an idea of creating a social enterprise, what is called social impact movement. Many people know me because of social impact movement, especially here in Miami. And the first initial concept was to get people connected to social causes, to social topics, ideas related to doing good, ideas related to being sustainable, ideas related to actually preserving the environment, all these combined. But we didn't have the Sustainable Development Goals into our core programs, because back then the Sustainable Development Goals is being launched by the United Nations the same year. So we're founded in February 2016. The Sustainable Development Goals were actually launched in the end of 2015. So they were just starting. And we had a very interesting beginning. The idea evolved. And then at the end of 2017, we already knew that to perform best, the need for Miami will need to be the hub for connecting global conversations to our local topics. That's when we incorporate these 17 goals behind me into our core programs and started doing events and getting people familiarized a little bit with the language, and eventually forming our global partnerships, which evolved so beautiful and so interestingly that right now we are implementing a global partnership in Miami. And it's for the Catalyst 2030. The global movement of social entrepreneurs is arriving in Miami and in the United States. So we're actually helping them, not only bringing Miami to global topics to local levels, but we're actually supporting the implementation in the whole United States. So myself and a partner, we are co-chairing the USA chapter for Catalyst, and helping the social entrepreneurship being recognized, being valued as an alternative for becoming an entrepreneur, and becoming a social entrepreneur should be intertwined for our future right now, because that's the best idea for the new entrepreneurs that are coming in. The new startups already have their vision of changing the planet, changing society, being participants of this global movement. And that's where we are right now to talk about it.
So I think the new generation, the new generation has caught up better than our generation. Because we're more conscious They're more conscious of what's going on. So
Definitely.
the SDGs, as you normally call it, is the Sustainable Development Goals.
Well,
So-
I usually start telling people a little bit of the story of the Sustainable Development Goals with a bit of introduction and a background. So the whole idea of the SDGs were created to build a more sustainable and prosperous society, where individuals require knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes to create long-lasting solutions to the global problems. So the SDGs were actually started by a meeting within the United Nations called Transforming the World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And they started before the Millennial Goals ended. So the Millennial Goals took place between the year 2000 and 2015. And the idea was to help find famine in the world, eradicate poverty, malnutrition. It was more dedicated to impoverished countries and in development countries.
Mhm.
That's when the United Nations got together again by the end, actually 2012, in the Rio +20 summit in Brazil. And they got together and to analyze, it was coming to an end, the MDGs, the Millennial Development Goals, and they were discussing about having the agenda that could work better with bringing the developed countries together and talking more about economic well-being, social inclusion, environmental protection as key elements at the heart of sustainable development, and provide direction for governing bodies, organizations, and individuals with clear targets and indicators to measure that progress. That's why the SDGs are 17 goals, 169 targets, and 232 measurable indicators of how we should proceed as a world that is fostering sustainable development. That's the idea behind the SDGs.
What are some of the goals?
Well, some of the goals, as you might see behind me, are no poverty, zero hunger, health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, climate action for the ones who are really passionate about climate, like myself as well. Climate action, it's the one that embraces all the changes that we experiencing in the climate and provides solutions for us to together embrace environmental protection. And the climate, so it's very interesting because the whole idea of the SDGs, they follow under three main pillars. They're called the SDG pillars that are the social pillar, which all the SDGs surrounding is social progress. No? Then we have the economic pillar, also embracing sustainable and economic development. And then we have the environmental. And behind this whole idea of stating the three pillars is nothing else but to connect with real issues that we face. We face issues coming from the economic side, from our social side, and from nature, no, from our environmental side. And
all connected, regardless.
all connected.
Mhm. So let me ask you, you mentioned a very interesting question that was asked when they were interviewing someone. Can you please tell us about that question? Because I thought it was the most eye-opening question. So please.
Yeah, you're talking about, so I think let's give a little bit of the background, I guess, because that happened when we were talking about the diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes.
Gathering, no? So a good thing about becoming a member in Catalyst is that there are several working groups in our task forces and different areas where you can collaborate and you can express your voice as a social entrepreneur and you can really create change. So if you are wondering, are you a social entrepreneur? So that's one thing that it's interesting to become clear. What is a social enterprise?
Social entrepreneur?
Yeah. So a social enterprise are mission-led organizations, whether for profit or non-profit, that tap market-led approaches and mechanisms for financially sustainable, scalable impact. So that's a social entrepreneur in the best definition that we have inside Catalyst and within our members. And what members do within Catalyst, we focus on systems change. So systems change is well defined as addressing root causes rather than symptoms, altering, shifting, and transforming structures, policies, customs, mindsets, power dynamics, and rules, and collaborating across a diverse set of actors. So this is the whole idea behind systems change. So Catalyst, what they do, they concentrate the acceleration of the SDGs under a systems change approach done by social entrepreneurs. So that's the beautiful part of it.
I was acquainted by a question that was asked to someone that is very comfortable, no problems, thank God, everything she has ever wanted. And they asked her, what can you do from being so privileged? How can you give back?
Yeah, that was something that we came across within our conversations right after the meeting that we had, which you participated, Gladys. So thankfully we have also you as part of our group and part of Catalyst 2030 and helping the USA chapter become better and more represented. We had these discussions right after. And one of our collaborators, Emily, she sent it to me, this amazing post that was in her, I think it was in her Twitter. And it talked about something really interesting for us who deals with the topic related to inclusion, DEI for companies and organizations. So that questions was like really breathtaking. And it is, how does your privilege serve you in this work? And how are you using it to create more equity? So those are two questions that a friend of her had experienced when doing an interview, like a job interview. And we found it really amazing because that's addressing root causes, you know, when from the beginning, from when you hired somebody.
When you hire someone, it's not after the problem. That's why it's so interesting.
Yeah, and that's how you treat systems change. You can't solve systems change by the end of the problem. You address systems change by the root causes. And the root causes for many companies start when they hire. They don't, you know, they are clueless and they don't even think about it. So I think that was very eye-opening for us. And the whole idea of participating in these groups within Catalyst, I would say it nurtures a lot us mentally, emotionally, and even with lots of knowledge. So if you are thinking, maybe I'm not that much knowledgeable about all the topics, it doesn't matter, because the community, the Catalyst community is like an apprentice community that you can get your apprenticeship running. It is also a community of senior entrepreneurs where they can share their knowledge with the other ones upcoming. So it's an integration between knowledge, experienced, willing to do good, and really preoccupied and worried about our planet's safety. known
and
as
creating awareness of people that actually care and have a passion for
Yes.
some of the things that you see behind you.
Yeah, and I have a question for you because
Okay.
now you asked me about Catalyst. I would like to ask you, did you come across with Catalyst?
The reason I came across with Catalyst is because through my foundation, The Power of the Heels, we teamed up with United Nations Women, the Miami chapter. And we did an event together. And one of my compromises was talking about one of the SDGs at every event that we had. So we were supposed to do a live event. And as you know, COVID is still hanging around us. And that's where they invited me to go to Catalyst 2030. That's how I got involved, because what we're doing in Power of the Heels is trying to disrupt the poverty cycle with education. So next week, we're starting the program. It's a year program with girls, just for girls. They're high school girls. We teamed up with two organizations, a Better Me organization and the Grace Leadership Academy, so that their girls can come in, no cost to them. And we have a group of experts that are going to share their knowledge so that they can get the tools that they don't teach in schools, so that we can disrupt literally the poverty cycle by getting financially education, the tools necessary to succeed, wellness. We're introducing them to meditation, to wellness, we're bringing experts to let them know how to fill out a resume, how to pass an interview, how to get internships, how
Wow.
to be able to create a whole budget, so that they are aware that there are things that you can do to save money and to earn money, how to access grants so that you can go to college.
That's fantastic, Gladys. And while I was hearing you, I came across to at least 5 SDGs that you are accelerating. So let's start the first one, of course, because you're talking to young women, young girls. We're talking about the number 5, gender equality. And because you are providing education, we're talking about number 4, quality education. But you're also eliminating the cycle of poverty, or all your programs are trying to get them improved. They will have better lives than their families. So you're breaking the cycle of poverty, which is number 1, no poverty. You are treating their well-being because you are providing meditation and aspects, and you are giving them perspectives for growing economically in the future, which is decent work and economic growth. So I am amazed. And you see, with this little conversation right now, we're talking about 5 SDGs at the same time being untapped and accelerated. So people do not know how much good and how many SDGs they are accelerating. And that's the work we do together here in Miami within Social Impact Movement. So we teach them and we provide programs where we bring the language for the SDGs to everybody. And our programs especially are very interesting to educate youth. So we have good programs related to youth, and we have a special program called SDG Impact Pledge, done in collaboration with another NGO, Accountable Impact, where we offer a year-long sustainability training for companies that are willing to come into the sustainability
I was going to ask you.
Yes, it's called SDG Impact Pledge, and it's very beautiful. It's live right now. So if companies listening to us right now would like to embark on a better sustainable way of planning and thinking about their strategies, I recommend having a meeting with us. And we go to the webpage, www.socialimpactmovement.org/SDG Impact Pledge.
Because I was going to ask you, the companies are the ones that are on top of everything. And if they start from the top and it all trickles down.
That's precisely.
They are the ones that are that have the ability and the funds to create a real impact.
Yes, yes. There's a very interesting point that you touch base, because Catalyst has launched a report last year, and this year they're launching again over that report like a review called New Allies Handbook. And in that New Allies Handbook, they provide ideas for governments and businesses to start collaborating, because also governments has a special
very big interest
in untapping the SDGs, because when you institutionalize, when you create opportunities such as good countries that are advancing the SDGs, I can get the example of Malaysia, for instance. They have created a whole pathway as a country to foster the SDGs. So within the United States, we need to start pushing that. And because the United States are member states, from the all united, we need to push from the city level. And that's really what we are working to get the city level involved, to get our city, Miami, really involved within the SDGs.
We had just had Labor Day. And I was thinking, we're still fighting gender equality. We're still fighting the gap between women and men. We're still not there.
We're still not there.
And I can't believe this.
Yes, and unfortunately, after COVID,
it was even, the gap is getting bigger.
Because women were the primary caretakers. So they, instead of going, if you have to, compensate, one should be working, one should be taking care of the elderly, of the people who can access the proper care. And the women are in that position. So we have going backwards, but I think there's also room for thinking positively and imagining a world that we don't have today. So nowadays we're facing great challenges for the gender equality. So what just happened in Afghanistan is really sad. We know that women and young girls are not going to school. Women are hiding because they're in fear. So we have situations globally that are threatening our gender equality levels.
Our basic rights. Not even the pay gap. They're threatening our basic rights.
Exactly. But in the United States, I think we have an excellent ground, and we can spread the idea within companies. So the equal pay should be something that are nurtured within companies. And interesting, because the DEI, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Statement Group Task Force that we are preparing, we're preparing initially to implement inside Catalyst, but we're also planning to expand and to get the concept also offered to our members, and from our members to stakeholders who get in contact within the members. So it's going to be a rippling effect. And the idea of the equal pay also is part of the DEI. It will be addressing.
So we can talk about this forever and ever, but actually our time is over. So please whoever is interested in contacting Claudia, where can they contact you?
Well, they can contact me through our information in the website. It's really all over. We have social medias everywhere. The name of the website is Social Impact Movement, which is the name of the company, Social Impact Movement. So you go to www.socialimpactmovement.org. There you can find all the information, our telephone numbers, our social media accounts, and contact me directly through that.
Claudia, thank you so much. It was amazing and definitely to be continued.
For sure. Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. And all the best in your goals, Gladys. And hopefully we can get more interested entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs to join Catalyst 2030.
Hopefully, yes. So everyone, please stay safe, and until next week. Bye.
Bye.